So, what are consequences? There are immediate consequences, which are pretty easy to determine, and then there are further consequences that are sometimes harder to predict. There's something called second order thinking, and it will separate the rich from the poor, the successful from the stagnant, the winners from the losers. And it's the ability to think beyond the immediate result and anticipate long-term consequences. When you can think like this, you'll make better long-term decisions and put you ahead of the majority of people and put you in the 1%. The majority of people are ordinary, aren't they? By definition, by mathematics. Most people are in the center of the bell curve and they focus on first order consequences, the obvious, immediate effects of a decision. If I drink too much, I get drunk. Fine. But there are longer term consequences, the second order thinking or second order consequences to consider. We should always think, and then what? And then what? This happens, and then what happens? Obviously, chess players are very good at this because they move this piece there. They see this taking, their bishop might take their knight, but then they can see three, four, five, six moves ahead. Actually, if that takes that, then my queen can check the king. Then their king will move. I can move my rook. Might be able to upgrade my pawn into a queen. And they're very good at understanding second, or they can think in a way that's second order, longer term thinking. It's critical to success. If you can't think beyond immediate consequences or immediate change or immediate results, you'll never become anything worthwhile. You need to anticipate consequences that other people ignore. You need to think big. Imagine you have two choices: a £50,000 job now or $50,000, instant money, stable, good job title, but you're working for someone else and you don't have time to start a side hustle. You're climbing the corporate ladder. And yes, you might be able to get a better paid job in a year and then the year after that, a year after that. But ultimately, over the course of 30 years, you will not have built a business. And look, I'm not saying that's the only way it can happen. You could save money, learn some skills, and start a business later on. But the other option would be to start a business now, make zero in the first year, but you're building value over time. First order thinking will be take the job. It's going to pay me more now. I can go on holidays, I can buy a new car, and it's paying pretty well. Second order thinking would be, well, actually, in 5 years' time, I'd still be in a job, but I wouldn't have built anything. Meanwhile, the second order thinker, the entrepreneur, is now making £200,000 a year and has financial freedom and has employees. Short term money feels good, but long term wealth is built by thinking ahead. Most people trade time for money. The smart build assets. What about a genie? Imagine a genie gave you two options. One would be $1 million instantly, and two would be the skills to create your own million. Most people would opt for the first because they think, well, actually, I'll get the million and I'll be all right. But why is it the most lottery winners lose it all? Because they haven't got the capability of managing that asset. They have a million, but they aren't millionaires as people. So the second order thinker would say, well, actually, I want the ability to make money myself. It's like you don't give someone food, you teach them how to catch and cook their own food. same thing happens, or the same concept applies. Short-term gain often leads to long-term loss. What about in business and product development? Netflix, second order thinking, looking at where things are going. Blockbuster, HMV, first order thinking. Late fees on their DVD rentals are thinking about those little stupid £2 when they weren't thinking about the bigger picture. Maybe it's a business that offers a free product and it's called the free product trap. They might think, well, actually, more people will try our product. But actually, second order thinking is if we give away too much for free, number one, no one will upgrade to paid version. Number two, they won't see our product as very valuable because if it's got no cost, it might not be very good. So short-term boost can cannibalize long-term revenue. What about the Cobra effect? The British government in India offered a bounty for dead cobras to reduce the snake population. First order thinking is this will make people kill cobras. Obviously, get rid of cobras and get paid for it. Second order thinking, and what happened is people started breeding cobras in order to claim more rewards. People aren't stupid. They will find ways around the rules, and actually, the population of snakes increased. Bad incentives can create worse problems. What about in money and investing? We've talked about the lottery and getting 1 million from the genie, and get rich quick schemes is another one. Oh, let's invest into crypto. It's booming, it's smashing it. But for every winner, there's a loser, and you're not learning skills. Second order thinking is hype fades. What if I lose everything and something I've saved over X number of years? Slow, steady investing can beat hype driven gambling. There is some caveats to that, of course. If you're very, very skilled and you understand trading, yes, you can make good money. But for every good trader, there's many, many bad traders. And second order thinking will be actually, well, okay, in this case, I don't understand trading, but I don't want to risk money. Can I go on free courses and learn how it works? Or even better, have an actionable real life trading account on demo mode and I can actually practice with money that isn't mine and it's not real. But if I try my strategies, maybe I can learn something. That's second order thinking. Understanding that I might as well make mistakes when there's no money involved. What about in health and fitness? Skipping one workout won't matter. First order thinking. Second order thinking is, look, if I skip it once, I'll probably skip it again. I'll lose strength, energy, confidence. There's a huge sort of thought that actually we can work harder and grind more. Don't worry about sleep, just work till 2 in the morning every night. That's first order thinking. The harder I work, the more rich I get. Not necessarily. Second order thinking is thinking, well, actually, if I'm tired, my productivity decreases. And actually, the quality of my work decreases. Sleep is important. What about in relationships? What about if you're quick to anger? Someone shouts at you and you snap back at them. That's first order thinking. Immediate return or, getting back at someone. But actually, that can hinder your reputation and you might lose that relationship. Second order thinking is me lose control. No, I'm going to play the bigger man here. I'm not going to destroy this relationship. Maybe it's a case of thinking, okay, well, I'm going to cut this person off because they can't do anything for me now. First order thinking. Second order thinking might be that anyone can change and become someone successful later on. Many people have gone from broke to rich. Conor McGregor's wife, Dee Devlin, she actually supported him financially when he was broke. And now, obviously, I mean, there's no introduction needed. UFC champion, many businesses. Don't look at just what people can offer you today. make a network of everyone, you don't know where people are going to be in a few years' time. So we've looked at some second order thinking examples, but how can you train your brain for second order thinking? Always ask, and then what? Okay, so I start this business. Okay, and then what happens? Okay, probably need to find some clients. Okay, and then what? Well, it's probably going to cost me money. Okay, and then what? How am I going to convert the clients? Okay, and then what? What competitors are they going to be? Okay, and then what? 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 That's what you have to keep thinking about. You need to stimulate or simulate rather future scenarios. Imagine 1, 5, 10 years ahead. What will this decision mean in 10 years' time? Business versus employment, as an example. And look, I'm not just saying that starting a business is the be all and end all. A lot of the time, employment can work out better for you. Security, you can, work up the ranks, you can save money. Some of the most successful people I know are employed. But there is a ceiling. We need to learn from winners and losers. Talked about Netflix, Blockbuster. Success leaves clues, and you can start to see what sort of things people think about, how big businesses think. Another way you can train yourself is to think about the consequences before deciding. Write them down. Write down three short-term consequences, some medium-term consequences, and some super long-term consequences that you can think of. Maybe that will affect your decision. There's something called the Benjamin Franklin decision-making model, and it's something that you use in sales as well, where you write down all the positives and negatives about the decision you're about to make. Obviously, if the positives outweigh the negatives, then great, make the decision. But if the negatives outweigh the positives, why are you making that decision at all? Or why are you taking on that decision? Think about the second order consequence, or be a second order thinker. Think about that second, third domino that's falling. If you push a domino over, you've probably seen it where a small domino can topple a domino the size of a building essentially if it's structured mathematically in the right way. And the small decisions you make today are going to compound later on. And you need to be able to see what that final domino will look like in the future. Maybe we need to delay gratification. Before impulsive decisions, wait 24 hours. Something I try and do now. Obviously, Amazon is such a thing that you can just spend so much money on. I leave it in the basket for 24 hours, check it tomorrow, and I'm like, actually, I don't even need that. Or if it is, I will get it. And then finally, the strategy six would be use the 10-10-10 rule. How will I feel about making this decision in 10 minutes? A lot of the time, the 10-minute decision is low because it's hard. What about in 10 months? And what about in 10 years? So become a second order thinker. Think about how your decision will play out in 5 moves, 10 moves, 6 years, 6 months, and what implications on the positive and negative are going to be included within that. How's it going to affect your time, your income, your mentality? Think about it. Most people think in minutes, the smart think in decades. Are you dumb or are you smart?